As a man, we often get gaslighted with things, and we hear this from women and we hear this from other men too, especially men who want to, how can we say, get brownie points with women, or who are just completely clueless and disingenuous. We always hear this situation where if you're not doing anything to women, what do you have to be afraid of? And as somebody who's been just wildly accused of something that I never done and how that has gone down, I understand that you just can't say things like that. You can't just have that one set mind of you. And then you'll have, every now and then, you'll have that female who's so-called woke and said, I understand what men going through right now. And even that you can't take serious, because a lot of these women have been known what you've been going through as a man, because a lot of them cause a lot of those issues when it comes to social interaction. Whereas a lot of men are realizing you have to be reserved. You can't even be anywhere near, how can I say, nice. And that's hard to say. It's hard to say. It's like, I don't like the way he made me feel. He made me feel uncomfortable. He was trying too hard. Or it's just something stupid like that. And I call that stupid is because if a man is attracted to you, of course he's going to be like, hi, how you doing? Hi, my name's so-and-so. Hey, what's going on? And I started to realize a lot of women just have issues with men that they aren't attracted to, or if that man they're attracted to isn't attracted to them, they have means of just throwing an accusation out there that can jam you up significantly. Oh, he turned me down and stuff after, I was kind of close to him, meaning that we were kind of, semi-intimate, meaning that we were like kissing, we were touching mutually, and he decided not to finish. He decided not to do the deed. And when a woman does that to a man can be like, yeah, she turned me down, so I'm gonna accuse her of sexually assaulting me. We don't do that. We don't do that. We couldn't do it if we tried. Whereas a woman, she can wake up in the morning and she can regret being close to you. You could be a co-employee and she can make up an accusation about you because she sees somebody else she wants to work with now. Or she sees an opportunity to knock you out of your position. And a lot of guys realize they can't risk that, because while we get that she's opportunistic, those accusations have severe ramifications to them. Then a lot of these females are left saying, why aren't men nice? Why don't men like working with women? No, we like working with women. We just don't want to be accused of something. Hell, either you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. You can keep it cordial, you can keep it professional, and this can be sprung on you one way or the other. And there's no way you see it coming. It could be something that you've done indirectly, and they will never correct you on it. They will just throw out the accusation. It's so easy to be believed. And a lot of these simps and a lot of these feminists don't realize just how damaging that is to a man's psyche. Don't mind me, I'm getting dressed. A lot of them don't realize how damaging it is to a man's psyche. That even at his best, meaning he's respectful, he's got status, and he's desired. Even at his best, a man still can't be considered a man. And I'm not saying that you gotta be this ho ho hey 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 baby, I'm gonna take you home type of type. No, you don't have to be that man. I'm talking about a man at he's at his best. Meaning that he's desired, like I said, he has status, things of that nature. He has to keep his head on the swivel. In other words, he has to keep his head on the swivel, meaning even he can be in trouble and be accused of something just for saying no thank you or having some restraint, not wanting to put his hoo-hoo dilly in everybody's cha-cha. And all it takes is the one female who doesn't like being told no to say some things, and next thing you know, he's Father UC King. But I digress. But I want to get into part 2 of something I wanted to talk about. And I know these are 2 totally different topics, but why not? Let's go for it. And as a first responder, you already know how I feel about this whole thing with COVID-19 and how black people are skeptic about a lot of things when it comes to treatments, when it comes to just a lot of things in general. But I'm going to say something that's probably going to shock a lot of people who listen to me. Well, not a lot of people, but certain people that listen to me. I'm actually going to sit there and eat popcorn and watch Texas open again to 100% capacity, because I know this can go 2 ways. It can go good, and this can be the catalyst that tells people like, look, the worst is over, which I sincerely doubt, but you never know, because I'm not a scientist. I'm just somebody who works firsthand, who had a patient who's COVID positive today who refused to go to the hospital. This man was laying in his own urine for 2 days, acting like a grown-ass 50-something-year-old man-child. And there's a black man at that too, and that shit bothered the fuck out of me. But anyway, then I had another patient, and this one here is sad. This girl got to be in her late 20s, early 30s, looking after 2 parents. Her father's bedridden, but he's not the worst off when it comes to COVID-19. His BP was good. His blood pressure was good. His room saturation with the oxygen, the blood and your oxygen. What COVID-19 does, it cuts off oxygen going to your blood. And when there's not enough oxygen at a level at 95 to 100% going through your blood, and it dips down into the 80s and lower 80s, you start to lose oxygen, which makes it hard to breathe. It makes it hard to function, ultimately cutting off oxygen going to your brain, which can ultimately lead to you going into cardiac arrest. So there's a lot of things, or it can directly affect your lungs, because what do your lungs do? They breathe for you. They air, inspiration, expiration. And if you're not getting oxygen to your alveoli, guess what? You're going to go into cardiac arrest as well. So either way, you're screwed.
Okay, but anyway, this this girl here, this young lady, looking at the both her parents, she is concerned, tears in her eyes. This is the second time I've been on the call for the same situation because she doesn't know what to do. She's monitoring them, and he had to explain to her that look, you're monitoring your father entirely a little bit way too much sometimes, like not at night. I understand you want to make sure it's at nighttime, but you're going to notice the blood pressure is going to dip down at nighttime because your body, while sleeping or so, your body goes into a stasis mode. Even when you wake him up out of it, this the and he's been in the bed for most of it, unless he needs to get up and go to the bathroom. So laying down and things, and he's on oxygen. He's fighting through this pretty good. He was at with oxygen on. He was at a good maybe 95%. He was good with the oxygen. He's staying alive. He's doing well. His blood pressure was decent. But she had tears in her eyes, and I don't tell her to stop calling. Look, she doesn't know what to do. Okay? Then her mother, same thing. And then her mother's diabetic on top of that, which, like I told you before, COVID feeds off of people with issues that are respiratory, diabetes, obesity, things of that nature. That was resolved too. So they didn't go to the hospital, but we checked, make sure, stayed on the scene, make sure everything was fine. I helped them use their glucometer for the mom. Her blood sugar was low prior to me getting there, but the neighbor, who's a good friend of them, and the daughter gave her some orange juice, and her sugar rolls from a low 38 to 99%, which is great because I'm 90 fasting, so that's fine. Okay? So she was good on that. They both gone, but both have COVID and they're fighting through it. Okay? And the difference is, brother man I told you about earlier, black man acting like a grown ass man baby. You have a Hispanic female caring for both of her parents, making sure they are right. And we're there to do that. And we did. Okay? And I noticed a lot of patients that I have dealt with, and I know it's the rule, it's the demographic of where I go in the South District of my city. A lot of them have relatives who are stubborn when it comes to health. And this is what I'm concerned about, all right? Because let's say, for example, there's a significant amount of black people in Texas. Texas is about to reopen, okay? And you have a lot of them who will have COVID and act like brother man I told you about. Don't want to go, laying in your own feces. Can't walk. But you got nobody else, none of your roommates got power of attorney to make you go. And then they have to come home possibly to your fucking corpse. And I hate to be vulgar when I say fucking corpse, but this is what I did, y'all. This is what I did. I explained to him. He was like, you're talking too much science. Being ignorant on purpose, by design. So guess what happened? He still refused to go. I don't know. You talk too much science. I don't know what you mean by blood and oxygen and all this other stuff. Being ignorant. Tactfully being ignorant. But guess what? I put the pulse oximeter on my finger, showing him that I'm at 97%. I have masks on, multiple masks. 97%. He has one surgical mask on. I had about 2 or 3 of them. But anyway, show him I'm at 97%. And I show him this is my heart rate getting elevated because I've been drinking up my caffeine, unsweetened caffeine with iced coffee during this intermittent fast I've been on during that time before I can eat. But anyway, I showed him I'm at 97. I told him this is what a normal person should be in. Now I'm gonna put this on your finger, and he raised the finger to look. He was at 86, which is dropped. That's the danger zone. He's dropping into the lower 80s. And I was like, you see that? That's not good. We need to get you to the hospital to check you out. I ain't going. Okay. All right. You see? This is why a few Negroes who try to come at me and tell me all this crazy shit and they don't believe in it. This is why I have the issues I have with a lot of yous. So imagine when Texas is open and you're down to black people in Texas, and a lot of them got this mindset and they get sick because it's inevitable that it's going to spread. Florida should have taught a lot of people that already. They're not even at 100% capacity, and look how bad it got down there. But like I said, I'm going to sit by and I'm going to eat popcorn like Michael Jackson. That meme, that gif of Michael Jackson from Thriller eating popcorn with the elated smile on his face. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that. Because it can go two ways. It can stay, the curve can stay where it's at. Or it can get worse. And that will send a message that we are not out of this funk yet. But it's going to take a few village idiots to figure it out. And I know it sounds heartless, but at this point, I don't give a shit. As long as I stay safe and my family stays safe. And if I can convince people to stay safe, by all means, good. I hope so. But ultimately, it's your prerogative. But don't sit here and think we're out of the funk. Because quite possibly we're not. But you want to experiment? This is going to be a social experiment. And there's a part of me that's like, yo, I hope 100% capacity in Texas is where it's successful and we don't get a lot of spikes in cases. Because right now we at 534 plus thousand deaths COVID related, and we have had 28 million people infected. So okay, you look at those numbers there. That's maybe, what's that, a good between 20 and 25% of the infected maybe that have died. A quarter of them. People will say, see, it's not that bad. I know a lot of people are surviving it. I know that. I know that already. But it's going to get worse before it get better. Or is it going to get better at all? I don't know. I'm not here to be a Debbie Downer, but I'm going to sit by and watch this happen. And I recommend you stay safe. And lastly, a lot of you who might think differently and have all these cockamamie views on stuff, well, I hope you understand you're not the majority. So if you're asked to wear a mask, wear a goddamn mask. Don't shoot a police officer to death because you want to walk into a high school basketball game without a mask. Pookie. I already did a story on that. Go check it out. Anyway, because I'm a Fury, I'm out. Peace.